Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are doing well today. It is Saturday and it is 12 noon in my neck of the woods, which is the East Coast of the United States. Um, I'm excited about doing this stream today. Um, so let me go ahead and introduce our my cohort, I can't even get the word right. My cohort, my partner in crime, my peanut butter, my hip I'm his jam to his peanut butter. He's my I'm his rice to his beans. I'm um his yin to my yang. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. You might have just been over watching him play some life. Here is a Deadman walking 55. Hello, Deadman. How are you doing today?
Hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? What an
I'm
introduction.
I'm fine. How are you?
You damn well are. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Let me go ahead and just check out, make sure
Hey,
everything is looking
John.
good
I was
here.
going to say John's coming
Well,
through and then going to watch some cartoons, but hey, sorry.
okay. So that's okay. I'm just checking and making sure
He
everything's
will be back.
okay here.
Yep.
Um, and if I'm going to go ahead and let me share this on the places I need to share it.
Yep.
Um,
Already got 9 people watching. Hey, thank you.
wow.
8 on
So,
the YouTube side. Make sure you like and subscribe and share it out if you don't mind. And of course, the Twitch side, make sure you follow over there. So, Snort Poopas has a few more. The Laurel to your Hardy, the Mo to your Larry.
oh, yes. Yes.
And then the name that I cannot pronounce that I finally get to say out loud. I've never been. I think. Hello, how are you? And I use
Hello.
hello.
I hope you are doing good. Let me go ahead and pop this over to
Runs
threads.
out of breath.
My threadiverse over here.
And of course, this is great. Since I've already introduced everybody about, we got the bear of Pinellas County, the man himself, the myth, the legend. Do not mess with him when he's ready to go
Now
hunting and snacking.
I'm going to
Hello,
go ahead.
humans, other critters.
I'm going to go ahead and do this over on the Discordia. So I will post it over here in.
You come up with some nice names for all these things, so.
Yes, and we'll
Yeah.
do Mark D with the
Mm-hmm.
C's.
Hey, I just looked at John Pontiero's avatar. He's got a Santa hat on. Woohoo!
Ooh,
Talk about
okay.
Christmassy. And we
Okay, well,
got the
let me
polar
sit here
bear.
and say hello to everybody. Now I know you have, but I'm going to do it anyway.
All
So
right.
here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put these up. We have Snorter Cube. Whoops, I'm on the wrong thing here. Almost reported you. Almost reported you for a violation, Snorter Poops. We have Snorter Poops Cube Burr. How about whom is another critters? Hello to you. I hope you are doing well. We have Saribot and Stream Elements over on the Twitch side. How about keeping everybody nice and kosher over there? John Ponterero. Hey, JP, how are you doing? I love the Santa hat. And thank you for stopping by. And yes, the Laurel to my Hardy, the Mo to my Larry, and name we cannot pronounce. Hello to you. I'm not going to do that again because I cannot. I just have to. I have to talk a lot during this show. We have Ezra, the First Line Keyblade Master. I have loved
Welcome.
this movie since I was a cub. I've missed this movie. Well, welcome, welcome. I know I have never seen you in the chat before, so welcome to this the review. I hope you like it. Please subscribe if you so desire, and to hit that like button. I really
Mm-hmm. And
appreciate
there'll be
that.
plenty of opportunities to share your favorite thoughts, lines, and moments in this movie
And
throughout the stream.
Snow Preeper says you may end up reporting me because I'm heading up napward shortly. I've been up since 4 a.m. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Wow.
Deadman, I am now giving you control of the chat because we are
Aye,
going to
aye.
go ahead.
Aye, aye, Mamba Man.
Okay, we are going to
And yeah, welcome, Ezra. I've never seen Ezra around either. Oh,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Yahoo!
So
Woohoo!
So we are going to go ahead and start the show. We're going to talk about the movies we've already reviewed just very quickly. We've done Jingle All the Way, where I gave it 3 Christmas trees and Dad Man gave it 8 popcorn buckets. Right there should kind of tell you the our view on certain types of movies. The Gremlins, I
Yes, I'm
gave
right.
that 8 Christmas trees, and he gave it 7 popcorn buckets. Last night we did A Christmas Carol, the Alastair Sim version, 1951, and we both gave it 8. I gave it 8 Christmas trees. He gave it 8 popcorn buckets. And now we are going to view the Santa Claus. Um, and we're just going to get right into this so that we can, because I kind of I've g I wrote out a little script thing because I'm kind of a little OCD like that, and it's like 8 pages. So
Yeah.
off we go.
I got copies today. So,
Yes. Um, and Ezra already is rated. We're gonna have to click that. We'll say it now, but we'll also reshare that at the end of the stream. I gave the Santa Claus 10 Christmas trees because it's nostalgic for me. Yes, the Santa Claus was it was released in 1994 in November. It had a budget of $22 million and it grossed $190 million worldwide. We'll talk about the actors as they appear in the screens. Now, I got these slides from a site that is called, well, let me, Fan Caps. So they kind of list them and so that's what I use to get my slides. My quotes I get from a site called, well, actually, I got them from IMDb, and the description of the plot I got from Wikipedia. So there we go. So here we go. The Santa Claus. 37-year-old Scott Allen, who's played by Tim Allen, Scott Calvin, who's played by Tim Allen, is a marketing director for a tour company in Lakeside, Illinois. He's going to spend Christmas Eve with his son, who's 8 years old, and his name is Charlie. And he is played by actor Eric Lloyd, who is so much better than the kid actor in Jingle All the Way, Jake Lloyd. I don't know if
it,
they're related, but this kid can act a little bit better.
okay. You know where my mind was going with that. I did not know that.
So I don't know if they're related or not, but
Yeah.
they both have Lloyd their last name. Scott finds out that Charlie wants to maintain his belief in Santa Claus despite not believing himself. So Neil is the stepfather. So Scott doesn't really have a lot of like toward him. So we've got some film quotes we're going to put in here as the movie is. So here we go. Let's go ahead and do the first one. I'll be Laura, and you can be Scott in the first one. Okay.
Okay. Whichever way you
Okay. You
want to do
ready?
it. Yep.
So all Neil told him was that Santa was more of a feeling, more of a state of mind than an actual person.
Yeah. Kind of like Neil.
And then you can read the next one.
Who gave you permission to tell Charlie that there was no Santa Claus? I think if we're going to destroy our sense delusions, I should be a part of it.
And then the next one, you can be Charlie and I'll be Scott.
Okay. Neil doesn't believe in Santa.
Well, Neil's head comes to a point. There was,
Look at us right
yes,
here.
that is a quote. Neil isn't a doctor; he's a psychiatrist.
I love
That is a quote from the movie.
exactly.
Absolutely. And good morning, buddy. How are you
Yes.
this afternoon? So,
I love that. That's one of the charming moments all the time. Tim Allen's like, he's not a doctor, he's a psychiatrist, just continually throughout the whole.
So Scott's ex-wife, who's played by Wendy Crewson, and his psychiatrist husband, Dr. Neil Miller, played by Judge Reinhold, stopped believing in Santa at a young age, and it feels that it is time for Charlie to do the same thing. And Charlie doesn't really want to be with his dad, so he quietly asks his mom to pick him up like really early the next morning, like sunrise early, he says. So did I say Whitney? I meant if I'm probably my enunciation wasn't that well. It is Wendy. Thank you, Ezra.
Yep. And you've
Um,
got it written as Wendy also. So
yes, but so he does not really want to be there. Um, he loves his dad, but their relationship is not that great, which we'll see a little bit. Scott burns the dinner just a little bit.
that's why you got to have high quality fire extinguishers. I love that
Yes,
line.
yes, that was a good line in there too.
But you know, I if I could go back to turkey real second. This on a personal note. That's still not as overcooked as the Thanksgiving fried turkey we had.
Oh, probably not.
No, I just had to say that. So
So, as they're driving to the restaurant, you can see the awkwardness of their relationship. So, you can be Charlie, and I'll be Scott in this scene from them driving to the
so I'm
restaurant.
Scott. I'm
You're
Scott. You're
Charlie.
I'm Charlie. Neil's a really good cook.
Yeah, and you should see him walk on water.
You don't like him very much, do you, Dad?
Charlie, I'm sorry. I was just kidding around. Sure, I like him, but there's just something about him that makes me want to.
Lash out irrationally?
Now, where did you hear that?
From Neil. I learn a lot from him. He listens to me.
Yeah, and he charges you for it. I'm sorry. I just love that. And
Yeah.
okay, um, name we cannot pronounce. We will share that rating at the end of the show. And as Buddy says, please like and subscribe. And we have a new subscriber, Ezra, the first line Keyblade Master.
Woohoo!
So, yay! Thank you so much for that. So they go to the restaurant, and they get set back in the in the area. There's a big like Christmas party going on in the front of the restaurant. So they sit them into the back, and if you notice, um, there are many dads there with their kids at the restaurant, and they all look a little miserable. And he asked this one, "Burned the turkey, did you?" And he shows his hand. Um, and
I missed that last night.
yes. And as they go in, I'll just read this one. The waitress says, "Are you with Hatsutashi?" And Scott's like, "No, Charlie. Dad burnt the turkey." Waitress, "Oh, yeah, this way. Come on, right over here." Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And they had no eggnog, they had no pie, they had
Yeah.
no chocolate milk. So it probably wasn't the best meal that they had.
I thought it was an interesting product placement. Denny's of all things, like Ezra said, they're going to Denny's, and he loves the burger, especially with eggs. So it was really relatable that everybody, right off the bat, they could relate to. Ours would be Waffle House. Personally, we're Waffle
Yeah,
House
we would go
people.
to Waffle House. We would go
But
to
yeah,
Waffle House. So they go home. Well, let me get this back right here. So they go home, and Scott reads him "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." And he kind of does what any parent does. You read the book, you notice they're asleep, and you skip a few pages, and you get back to the end of the book and the end. I
right.
love that because I have done that so many times when I was reading books to the kids to go to sleep. So after reading it, he turns off the light to leave the room, and then Charlie interrupts him. You can play Charlie. Actually, I'll play Charlie.
Okay.
I'll be Charlie, you be Scott. What's that?
What's what?
A rose succock ladder.
It's not a ladder. I said arose such a clatter. It means came a big noise.
What?
Charlie, arose is a word that means it came, and a clatter is a big noise. Now, please go to sleep. Shut your eyes.
Dad?
What is it, Charlie?
Maybe you better leave some milk and cookies out just in case, okay?
Great. I'll just go preheat the oven.
And don't forget the fire extinguisher.
Good night, Charlie.
So they go to bed, and they're awakened by a noise. Oops, wait a second. They're awakened by a noise on the roof, and Charlie goes running into his room. Dad, I heard a clatter. I heard clatter. and he goes outside to investigate, and then he finds Santa Claus, who got startled, and he falls off the roof.
Wow. I thought he was immortal. That was kind of crazy like that. I was like
Yes.
surprised. How can he die like that? It's like,
Yeah,
uh,
and Ezra likes the Night Before Christmas, especially in Minecraft.
no, that's neat. Yeah,
So
name who can't pronounce says somehow someday someone must make a video essay of the phenomenon of single dads in movies from the 90s to early 2000s.
that would
Yeah,
be very, very interesting. That would take some
hmm
research to do, though.
yeah,
So, uh, Scott, who told Charlie to stay inside, did not listen and went outside, and he goes, "It's Santa. You killed him."
did
Okay.
not. He's not Santa.
Well, he was. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm a little bit disturbed that Charlie or Scott aren't a little more upset that there's a dead man laying in the snow. They're just kind of like, oh, well, Santa, he's dead. You know, Scott doesn't even believe it's really Santa. And they're just kind of like, oops, oh well. Did that not bother you?
It kind of threw me off a little bit why are they so up at that late at night when you're supposed to go to sleep for Santa coming? And then it's like
Well,
they run out.
they woke up.
Yeah,
Charlie heard the noise and he woke up his dad and they went out because they heard the noise. He had too much whiskey in the milk and cookies.
yeah, I think so.
So
Yeah,
he looks for identification for and for in his card, and he finds a business card. And before he searches him, he goes, "Hey, fella, if you can hear me, I'm just looking for your identification. As soon as I find out who you are, I'll give you a lift back to the mall." So he finds a business card that says Santa Claus, and it states that if anything were to happen to him, put on my suit and the reindeer will know what to do. So
hmm
Scott and Charlie look up and oh, there's the sleigh with all the reindeer on the roof. And then when they turn around, Santa, the body has disappeared, only leaving the suit. And
yeah.
Scott goes,
Reindeer
Rain,
up on the roof. Santa suit laying on the ground. Guy fell. Not my fault. Reindeer on the roof. That is hard to explain.
it's a ladder.
Where the hell did this come from?
And it's the Rose Suchuk ladder appears. And Scott goes, Charlie? Oh, wait. So the Rose Suchuk ladder appears. And then they climb up, and Charlie has no fear of these reindeer. Anticipation, says Buddy. So Scott says, Charlie, stay away from those things. They're reindeer. You don't know where they've been. They all look like they've got key lime disease.
What the heck? Key lime?
Scott grabs the Santa suit and he goes up top there. And Charlie asks,
Uh, sorry. These are Santa's reindeer. I was looking at chat a second. These are Santa's reindeer, aren't they?
I hope not. These are a gift, probably from the cable company. We're getting the Disney Channel now. Merry
I
Christmas.
I did like that line.
And
Atwood's
this,
here.
hey,
Atwood's here. Hey,
Atwood.
good to see you. So
Yes, and a name we cannot pronounce says Santa Claus did the Obi-Wan Kenobi trick.
yep.
He disappeared and left his cloak behind. Exactly. This movie was actually supposed to be released under the Hollywood Pictures um, brand, but
hmm
it tested so well with kids that they moved it to the Walt Disney. Um,
Oh, really?
yes. So that's a little thing there. So the little
Hmm.
Walt Disney was there. So they, see the reindeer and everything. Charlie goes into the sleigh and he's saying, get out of the sleigh, get out of the sleigh. But he doesn't, he's still not wearing the Santa costume. Guys, remember that. That's important. He's still not wearing the Santa costume. Remember and think back what the business card said. So the reindeer take off and land on a house. And at this point, Scott reluctantly puts the suit on, and then he spends the rest of the night delivering gifts before the reindeer take them to the North Pole. And so here are some of the lines during that whole thing. He goes, "Get the bag of toys," says Charlie, and Scott says, "And do what?" Charlie says, "Go down the chimney." Scott, "Down the chimney? You want me to take the toys down the chimney in this strange house in my underwear?" And that's when he puts the clothes on. He picks up the bag and he starts flying, and Charlie says, "I'm hearing you typing, so I'm assuming you cannot read
Mm-hmm.
these."
Right.
Yeah, the emo should not have been on. I feel bad about that. So, anyway, Charlie says, "Whoa, Dad, you're flying." And Scott says, "It's okay. I'm used to it. I lived through the 60s."
I love this. What Santa costume? To what you say. I noticed that too with a screenshot. He's not wearing pants either. Family friendly movie. Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. Thank you for letting me clean up on the Twitch. We actually got 3 people lurking over on the
Oh, well,
Twitch side.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much. He goes and gets some presents out of the bag. In this house, he meets a dog and says, "Nice teeth." Um, and then this second house he goes to, um, he goes, "Hey, there's no chimney here. There's no chimney." And Charlie goes, "Looking good, Dad." And he hovers over this thin pipe, and then he goes, "You have got to be kidding me." And he gets sucked through the thin pipe. And this explains how houses that don't have fireplaces, how Santa Claus can get in. You go down to the house and you just see the radiator, and that's the pipe he went down. But then magically a fireplace appears, and he can enter the house. And he meets a little girl who wakes up. Now, I want you to kind of remember what this little girl looks like. Okay, so her name is Sarah. And Dadman, can you do Santa? I mean,
Right.
Sarah, please. I'll do Scott.
Okay. It's with Santa. Santa?
Scott Calvin.
How come your clothes are so baggy?
Because Santa is watching his saturated fats.
How come you don't have a beard?
Because I shaved.
Yeah, instantly reveals an unwrapped
And
Raggedy Ann
he
doll.
and he pulls out a Raggedy Ann dog from the bag. He says, "You want this doll or not? Go back to sleep." And she
You're,
sees Santa Claus eating some celery, and Santa Claus and Scott is leaving. And then she says,
you're supposed to drink the milk.
"Look, I'm a lactose intolerant, and I'm just about to this close to taking all those presents back up the chimney." "You're supposed to drink the milk." She opens her eyes after hearing what he said, and he turns around and says, "Shut your eyes!" And she does. So they're riding in the sleigh at the end of the night, and he goes, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And when I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan." So they don't end up home. They end up in the North Pole.
Yay! All right.
And here is the shop where they are with all the elves. And he keeps calling them kids, and they say, "We're not elves, we're older than you." And he learns out that there was a technicality that if you looked at the edges of the card, which you could clearly see there was writing on, so it wasn't really sneaky. Because I thought, well, maybe it was sneaky, but I looked at the card at the beginning, and you could see that it's
I,
writing around the
I have to go
edges.
back. I'd have to go back to the beginning scene though, with that beginning card that you're looking at, because I never saw it to begin with.
Okay,
Watching.
give me a second, and I will.
Okay, because I mean, watching it full speed, watching it as the movie went, it was like,
Yeah, but if you,
okay, okay,
one second. Okay, so here it is.
right,
Here's the card.
okay.
You can see that that's writing all around it.
but that's one of the problems I have with this movie. With that was that
Yeah,
that it's like a lawyer trick.
yeah, well, he's a but he's
Watch most instant commercials these days. All the legal disclaimers and fine print, and there's the fine prints are that's how they
but
read legal
he's a
disclaimers.
businessman. He should have read it. Reads
Uh,
okay,
I
okay,
agree.
yeah,
Always read
okay. These
everything.
are some of those from Screen Rant.
Yep.
After I finish that, it turns out that putting on the suit, he is subject to a legal.
Yep.
Here we go. He's subject to a legal technicality known as the Santa Clause and has accepted all of the late Santa's duties and responsibilities. So I think go ahead and read Screen Rant 10 and 8. Those
Okay.
are about this, right? Are they about what's
Yeah.
okay? Go ahead and read
No.
them.
Screen Rant 10. The elves moved on from the last Santa really fast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, can Scott Calvin replace this old Santa so easily? When Scott and Charlie arrive at the North Pole, the elves immediately inform Scott that he is in charge. No one seems fazed by the fact that the previous boss fell off a roof and supposedly died hours earlier. Scott is seen developing friendships with the elves in this movie and the sequels. They presumably had a similar relationship with the previous Santa. Uh,
yes. Charlie and Scott weren't fazed that there was a dead man in their front yard. I guess it happens every Christmas. Santa Claus, they weren't that phased that Santa Claus died, their boss, and there's this new guy here. They don't even give a crap. And you would think that, some of them would have, close to Bernard, close to um, Santa.
yeah.
So go ahead. So you can go ahead and read.
Well, yeah.
Is number 8 about what's number 8 about?
Number 8 is that Scott should have read the entire contract.
Okay, so go ahead and read that one.
Okay, because the other part had a second part about the TV shows.
Yeah,
So
we don't have to read about them.
Scott should have read the entire Santa contract. Isn't Scott Calvin a businessman? When Bernard the elf explains the contract that makes Scott the new Santa, he tries to put it in terms Scott will understand, saying, "You're a businessman, right?" Scott was an executive at a toy company before becoming Santa. Yet even after accepting his new role as Santa, Scott never thoroughly read the contract. He is surprised in the sequel to find out that he needs to get married on short notice, which is stipulated in the contract. As the franchise continues, the rules of Santa Claus get more confusing. Scott should have read the contract or had his lawyers look it over.
Exactly. He was a businessman. If I saw little words written around, I'd go, "Oh, wait, let me read this before I do
You'd at
anything
least look
else."
at it closer to figure out what it is.
And then there was a head elf, Bernard, who was
Bernard.
played by David Krumholtz, who I remember him in the TV show Numbers. He played the genius brother. He gives Scott 11 months to get his affairs in order before reporting back to the North Pole on Thanksgiving. And you can read the Scott Calvin lines, and I'll be Bernard.
Okay. Okay. Look, I am not Santa Claus. Ah.
Did you or did you not read the card?
Yeah, I read the card.
Then you're the new Santa, and putting on their hat and jacket, you accepted the contract.
What contract?
The card in the suit, Santa suit. You said you read it, right? So when you put on the suit, you fell subject for the Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus? Oh, you mean the guy that fell off my roof?
No, not the Santa Claus, the person. Santa Claus, the clause.
What?
You're a businessman, right? Okay, a clause, as in the last line of the contract. You got the card. Okay, look.
What does that mean?
It means you put on the suit, you're the big guy.
That's ridiculous. I didn't put this suit on to.
Try to understand this! And then all the other elves. Ooh, because Bernard was mad.
Why not? What if I don't put any of the Santa Claus thing? Don't buy into the Santa Claus thing. What if I choose not to believe it?
A dead silence falls upon the workshop. And Bernard says, then there would be millions of disappointed children around the world. You see, children hold the spirit of Christmas within their hearts. You don't want to be responsible for killing the spirit of Christmas now, would you, Santa? So he kind of looks at him resigned, and then Bernard says, I'll ship the list to you to your house. I'll ship the list to your house.
What list?
You know, the list. Ah, he's making a list. And then Charlie sings real loudly, checking it twice. And then all the elves, join me, Dad Man.
Yeah.
Gonna
Gonna
find
find
out
out
who's
who's
naughty
naughty
or
or
nice.
nice.
And Bernard groans.
Yeah. By the way,
So
let's look. Buddy Holly. Buddy said, "What lawyer are you going to consult?" Buddy Holly, Buddy Hepburn. What lawyer are you going to consult? He said, "Thank you for calling the law offices of Holly, Jolly, and Mary."
exactly.
Yeah. Now it did have the fine print though, but it was
It's,
structured a lot different. It was the trimming on the card.
it
That's
was the outline of the card.
yeah.
So there it
But
was
I
written
still
on
think that that
there.
was a. I think that's dirty pull,
Of course
considering
it's
the
dirty
spirit of.
pull. Do you
But
think
that
someone would
But it kind of tarnishes the image of Santa and the elves. Like they got to resort to underhand tricks to get somebody into the suit. Because it was interesting seeing that other thing that you had marked. I don't know if you want to go into it about the for the screen round about the TV sequels that actually make it a little more confusing.
there's one part they say about the TV sequels about
Yeah.
the um that they say that Santa didn't really die.
Right.
Um, that he didn't really die. That he retired.
Yeah.
And they said that the reason that they did that was because Tim Allen didn't like the fact that Santa Claus died. He he
Right.
he complained about that, and so they changed it in the TV series that what they had.
Oh gosh, Buddy Hepburn. What is says Ghost Rider without the motorcycle fire and see? Wow, Buddy.
So this movie is kind of a little, if you really watch it and
Yeah,
you
we'll
go,
talk. Yeah.
this is like a little wow.
Yeah.
So okay, here's Bernard, and and some people have said, "Well, Bernard, if you could friggin' do everything, what you run? Apparently, you run this place 11 months out of the year. Why can't you be Santa Claus too?" So we're kind of, but it's not his. It's not in his job description. He's a union worker,
Yep.
so he gets his pajamas on, provided for him, and he goes to bed and falls asleep. And he had some wonderful hot chocolate.
But can I share something real quick right
Uh
there?
huh.
Because in this, so I don't forget it later. This was a neat scene with the little girl came up. Well, I say girl, but she's like
Judy.
Judy. It took her over 1,200 years to master the recipe for the hot chocolate, and he's like, he made a comment, "You looking good for your age" or something. And she's like, "Don't I'm not. Yeah, I'm seeing somebody in rapping."
I'm seeing someone in wrapping, but it's interesting. None of the presents are ever wrapped in the bags.
I know it's hilarious, but it was like the way that his line was like you directed at a kid, but then the kid took it off into, "Hey, don't worry, I'm seeing someone else have to
Yes.
stay on the shelves." And
Yes.
oi, stunning!
Hey, stunning. Hey, stunning.
Good to see you.
So he changes into his pajamas, goes to bed, and then he wakes up the next morning. And he believes that the whole thing was a dream, but then he realizes that he's still wearing the pajamas. Charlie is proud of the fact that his dad is the new Santa Claus, and this arouses concern in Laura, Neil, and the school staff because at the school, bring your dad to work
Oh,
day. He brings his dad up to the front of the room and says, my dad is Santa Claus. And Scott hasn't really realized that he's Santa Claus yet. It's like, no, I'm like Santa Claus. I work in a toy factory. I'm like Santa Claus. He says, no, you're the real Santa Claus. And this arouses concern, as I said, in Laura, Neil, and the school staff. And so they go to talk to them in the principal's office, and they have this little conversation. I'll be a Neil and you can be Scott. Okay?
okay, okay.
Scott, What was the last thing you and Chris did before you went to bed Christmas Eve?
Well, we shared a bowl of sugar, did some shots of brown liquor, played with my shotguns, field dressed a cat, looked for women. I read him a book,
What book?
Hollywood Wives.
And Laura puts her head on his hand, her head on her face.
Uh, the, the night before Christmas. Folks, come on.
So, yes, sarcasm abounds. 1 second.
Thank y'all for being here with us today. We appreciate y'all being here and hope everything's going for you. That it's a great Christmas season. Only 18 more days till Christmas. Yay! And Mrs. had to fart.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry. So,
yeah.
Scott didn't want to destroy Charlie's newfound enthusiasm. And if you watch through this show, Scott starts wearing everything green and red: green sweatsuits, green hoodies, red sweatsuits, red tennis shoes, boxers are red. So if you just start noticing that everything of his wardrobe becomes red and
Mhm.
green. So he didn't want to destroy Charlie's
No.
newfound enthusiasm. So he asks him to keep their North Pole trip a secret. So over the next year, Scott
Ah,
undergoes a drastic change. He gains a lot of weight and develops an increased fondness for sweets, particularly milk and cookies. He also develops a white beard that instantly regrows after shaving, and his hair turns white in spite of attempts to dye it. If you could read Screen Rant 4, that would
Green
be
Rant
great.
4. All right. Let's see. Green Rant 4. Scott's transition is terrifying. Uh,
Yes.
why did Scott get a CAT scan? Scott's transformation is evidence that the Santa Claus is secretly a horror movie. Imagine having waking up having gained 20 pounds overnight or seeing a beard grow back at an alarming rate. Scott possibly dismisses these things because deep down he knows he is Santa and is in denial about what the magical things happening around him. However, his joke from his first night as Santa, when I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan, resonates. It is surprising Scott doesn't think he is losing his mind.
Hmm. It's just he's just kind of taking all of this. They're so calm. Santa dies. Oh well. Look, I guess there's a dead man. Oh wait, he disappeared. Oh well. Oh, there's reindeer on our roof. Oh well. You know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so calm. Oh, I've gained 20 pounds. Oh wait, I'm gaining weight as I'm standing here. Oh well. So he goes to work, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously he's gained weight. None of his clothes fit him.
Right.
So he's at a business meeting, and Scott Calvin comes in, and he says, "Did I miss anything?" And a business guy, you be Calvin,
Yeah.
you be Scott Calvin, I'll be all the other characters.
Well, I see. This is another thing, and we can talk about it a little more. But just
Yeah,
the way he walked in, everybody's eyes got like big.
yeah,
It was like, what happened to you?
right.
But yeah. Uh, did I miss anything?
A business guy across from him. No, we were just about to order lunch.
Great. I'm starving.
Susan Perry. I'll have a salad and an iced tea and dressing on the side. Mr. Whittle. Pasta, tomatoes, and very light on the oil. Can you do that?
And I'll have a Caesar, no dressing, and one of those homemade cookies, the warm chocolate chip, no nuts, a little slice of cheesecake, creme brulee, and a hot fudge sundae, extra hot fudge. Sees people looking weirdly at him. On the side,
Waiter, anything to drink?
ice cold milk,
Susan Perry. Stung by a bee, Scott?
a big bee.
So, yes, he told them that he was stung by a bee, and this is um, that's what was really happening there. Give me 1 second. So, I'm going to put these back in order. we go. Susan Perry, who you see right there, is Judith Scott. She's played by Judith Scott. So
Hmm.
during the meeting, the company talks about a new ad for their military tank having Santa Claus writing on it. And Scott gets a little angered by this proposal. He says, "Well, isn't that a pretty picture? Santa rolling down the block in a Panzer. Well, kids, I certainly hope you've been good this year because it looks like Santa took out the Pearsons' home. Incoming."
Yeah, that
Uh,
was cool.
and he goes to the doctor. Um, because he's concerned about that. He does treadmill and everything, and the doctor, um,
Yep.
uh, you play the doctor.
Okay. I don't know, Scott. You're as healthy as a horse.
Yeah, Clydesdale.
So what? You put on a little weight.
Wait, does this look like a little weight to you?
Uh, Weight can fluctuate from year to year.
Fluctuate? You make it sound like I'm retaining water. I've gained 45 pounds in a week. Pete, what's happening to me?
Well, what's your diet like?
Milk and cookies.
Really?
But I don't finish the milk.
Well, then there's your problem. Just try to cut back on the sweets, okay?
And
Oh,
why
yeah.
not give them a CAT scan?
Yes.
See what's going on. So with the other things that happen, that Scott goes to Charlie's soccer game, and then all
Hmm.
these kids start lining up and talking to him and telling him what they want for Christmas. And so
Yeah.
Laura and Neil witness this. They're very concerned,
Yeah, they walked
and
up. You
they
could see it on their face. They walked through the soccer match, actually.
and that, which was the weirdest looking soccer match. It was just a bunch of kids running everywhere. Never saw any kids. But anyway, that's part of Screen Rant number 9. Um, and they just leave and take Charlie away. Don't say anything to Scott or anything. So read Screen Rant 9. Um,
The soccer game scene was sketchy. Where were all the parents at Charlie's soccer game? Scott is at Charlie's soccer game when the kids start lining up to tell him what they want for Christmas. He has put on some weight, grown up beard, is wearing red sweatshirt, so the kids thinking he is Santa is understandable. Yet, all bold, no parents at the soccer game and the Santa Claus are concerned by their children interacting with a stranger. Charlie's mother and stepfather, Laura and Neil Miller, get there and are disturbed, but more so by Scott supposedly pretending to be Santa to win Charlie's affection. They don't tell him that he could get arrested for acting this way. Which, personally, I thought it was weird how they walked through the daggum soccer match.
the whole
They
thing
were
was
late and they
weird.
walked through the. I mean, it was one of the oddest scenes I've ever seen in a
I
movie.
mean, I mean, wouldn't you go say, Scott, you can't have kids sitting on your lap. You're going to get arrested. They're going to think you're a pervert.
Yeah.
Because he does look like a pervert. With that first, there was a scene that was not here. A little girl came up and is like standing on the bench and goes right up to him. And she, I don't know if she asks he's Santa Claus or something, but she ends up like sitting on his lap. And I'm going, oh my gosh, don't. He's going to, I was waiting for a parent to come. And they never came because they're not there, apparently. This is a drop your kid off at the park and let him play soccer and not worry about him. So,
Yeah.
yes, this scene there's so many things that disturbed me in this movie. Um,
Yeah.
Later on in the year, FedEx delivers them about 4 FedEx trucks deliver all these boxes to him, which were the names of all the kids. And so he begins to recount naughty and nice children by name. And as he looks at the list here, and as he's walking down the street, he goes, Johnny naughty, Alice nice. And then he sees Tiffany. I don't know if that's really her name. Really nice. And then Tiffany looks back at him and says, in your dreams. So that was a little one for the grown-ups there. So they're a little concerned about Laura and Neil about the whole soccer thing. So Neil is talking about maybe they need to do something drastic to get um, to knock some sense into Scott's head.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to have a hearing about his visitation rights. And this is the morning when he's trying to get ready to go. He dyes his hair black, he shaves his beard off, and then immediately it grows back, like within a second. So he's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm in big trouble. He knew that he was going to be in trouble going to the visitation hearing. But he has no choice. This is what he looks like, so he has to go. Um, so they're there, and while Charlie's in talking to the judge, Laura and Neil tell their stories about when they stopped believing in Santa Claus. So go ahead, Dad, man.
Okay. Screen Rant 7. Laura and Neil stopped believing in Santa because they didn't get what they wanted. Are Laura and Neil saying this is what happens to every kid? Laura and Neil, believing that Scott is lying to Charlie, request that Scott's visitation rights be suspended. While Charlie is speaking with the judge, Laura and Neil explain how they stopped believing in Santa. As a child, Laura wanted a mystery date board game, which the missus remembers.
I'm
And yeah, you do?
I do remember that game. Yes.
Yes. And quote, wrote Santa a letter every week that year, end quote, while Neil wanted an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle, so appropriate for his character. That last part I added. They
Yes.
stopped believing because they did not get these presents, which Scott delivers to them at the end of the movie. The scene in Santa Claus suggests that children give up on Santa when they don't get what they want for Christmas, which is inherently selfish.
And the Oscar Mayer weenie whistle was not ever sold in stores. It was a promotional item that you got either through the Oscar Wiener Mobile or maybe by sending in
Mm-hmm.
labels or something like that. But you could never, it was never sold anywhere. So yeah, they were just so pathetic, and Neil was 3 years old when he quit believing in Santa. He said.
And that even
So
shocked Laura, though.
yeah, I mean, it just so I just thought that this was like such a weenie reason to quit believing in Santa. I didn't get what I wanted, so I'm never going to believe in you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What little spoiled children.
Yeah.
So the judge suspends Scott's visitation right. And he says, he's saying that giving his dad a hug. And this is where Charlie tells him, "It'll be okay, Dad. I told him everything." So I think Scott pretty much knew then that he was done for. And he was very sad as they left. But then Thanksgiving comes around, and he goes to Laura and Neil's house to see Charlie for one last time. And while he's there, he still doesn't think he's Santa Claus. He's not sure what's going on, but he still doesn't think he's Santa Claus. So
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's desperate to help Scott realize how important he is to the children of the world. So he shows him the magical snow globe, um, which was the gift from Bernard, to convince Scott that he really is Santa. And I will be Charlie in these, and you can be Scott. Okay. So here we're going to read these lines. What do you mean you don't know? Of course you are. After he asks him if he's Santa Claus. Of course you are, Dad. How can you say that? Think about those kids.
The only kid I'm thinking about is you.
Dad, I'm fine. You can't let them down. They all believe in you. And then
Uh,
Dr. Neil Miller, go ahead.
Charlie, listen.
You listen. You think you know what he is. You don't. Laura,
Charlie, honey, listen. You're confused.
I know exactly who he is. Dr. Neil.
Charlie, he is not Santa. Dr. Neil
He
Miller.
is too, Santa. When we went to the North Pole together, I saw it. The elves are real old, even though they look like me. Bernard called me a sport because he knows everything. Right, Dad? Scott looks unsure. Charlie, tossing him the snow globe that Bernard gave him, remember! And then Scott sees inside the snow globe um, it magically moving with the reindeer flying, and Scott remembers and he thanks Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Then he asks Laura and Neil to allow Scott a minute to talk to Charlie alone. Whoops.
Yeah.
Bernard appears and takes them both to the North Pole. Thinking Scott has kidnapped Charlie, Laura and Neil call the police. Screen rant number 2, please.
Screen rant number 2. All right, we got screen rant number 2. I'm switching papers back and
Stunning
forth.
says, I didn't realize Santa was a Southerner. He is a Southerner today. He is a
Yes, he
Southerner
is.
today.
Scott taking Charlie was a bad idea. What did Scott think Laura and Neil were going to do? When Scott has his epiphany of realizing that he is Santa, Charlie says he wants to go to the North Pole with Scott. Scott and Bernard accede to this, and Laura and Neil predictably call the police on Scott for kidnapping. Scott must have known this was going to happen. When he brings Charlie back on Christmas Eve, Scott then tells his son that he has to stay with Laura and Neil.
Okay, you don't have to do all that part.
Okay.
But yes, he knows he's going to. And let me tell you something. What did Laura think? I would never have left him alone. You just have number one, whether he's Santa Claus or not, you'd have a devastated dad who has lost all visitation rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks still a little unhinged because he now believes he's Santa Claus. And you're going to let him talk to the child he's not allowed to see anymore alone? You're fucking crazy. Excuse my language. I mean, it's just crazy. I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
So he goes to the North Pole, and of course, Neil and Laura call the police, and this is a sketch of them searching for Santa Claus. This one won't be hard to find. And like in the movie, they stop other Santa Clauses that are not him.
Yes.
And while they're at the North Pole, a lot of improvements were made to Santa's gear. They made they said flame resistant suit, which a flame resistant suit will eventually catch on fire instead of a flame retardant suit. So that was a little faux pas they did, but they kind of tested it out so he could get down the fireplaces without burning. They made in the sleigh, they put a CD player, which is they called it a dual
That
cocoa
was nice.
maker, and then a little right in this spot right here,
Yep.
right there, a cookie came out.
That really
Nice
was
warm
cool.
cookie. That was really cool. So those were some of the advancements, improvements that they made. He went back again to see this little girl who still has her 2 front teeth missing from a year ago.
Okay.
Not changed at all. Not grown up. Supposedly a year older. Apparently her teeth are permanently lost out of her head.
I
So,
never even noticed that.
um,
Never even noticed that.
So no, none of them. So
Mm.
she sees Santa,
Mm.
and
You
I
want me
will
to take
play
that line?
Sarah, and you
Okay.
can play Santa.
Okay.
You're fatter this year.
Thank you. You're going too. Now go back to sleep.
He drinks the milk and gags.
Yeah.
Sarah looks at him.
I think the milk's a little sour.
It's soy milk.
Huh?
You said you were lactose intolerant.
I did say that, didn't I? Well, thank you for remembering.
And welcome, Daisy Blossom Flower Child. So glad you are here. We are kind of going through the movie, doing some quotes, and talking about some of the stuff that a little bit that kind of irks us.
Yes, Mrs. done it right. She's printed out nice scripts for us to do it. Unlike when I threw to Daisy, hey, read off this screen. I just told you 5 minutes ago. But yes, welcome, Daisy.
So he sees this little girl here. He goes to Laura Neal's home where he is arrested while Charlie is up on the roof with the reindeer and the sleigh waiting for him. So, his hat also had a special two-way radio in it, which you see he's not wearing. It's on the floor, and then they realize that something has happened. So they send, so the kids who, why are all these kids up? Why is he delivering presents
I
when
that
people are
was
here?
that was a big question I was asking you the whole time. Who's out on the street at 10, 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve? I mean, because I'm presuming it's later at night when Santa normally
I
comes.
don't know. I don't know. So anyway, all they're here and they watch Santa be arrested. And then up in the North Pole, they send out the elves, which is the effective liberating a flight squad. So they're out to they're the SEAL team, the not the SWAT team that kills people. We're the ones that go out. They're the extraction team for
Yeah.
the North Pole. So they're going flying off, and Santa is being interrogated by the police officer,
Hmm.
um, Detective Nunzio. Um, would you like to be Detective Nunzio and I'll be Scott?
Yeah, yeah. All right. After Scott got arrested. Look, I know you're Scott Calvin. You know you're Scott Calvin. So let's make it a simple. I say name, you say Scott Calvin. Name,
Chris Kringle.
name,
Sinterklaas.
name.
Pierre Noel. Babo Natali. Pels Nickel. Topo Gigio. I can't.
Okay. That sounds like a wine, Topo Gigio. Okay, Calvin, maybe a couple of hours in the tank will change your mind.
So the um, elves come along. This is the elf team. Um, and they go to rescue Charlie. But what is missing on the roof, everybody? What is missing? The reindeer. Where
Yeah.
are the reindeer? They just left. I don't know. They're just not there anymore, which is very disturbing.
Yeah,
So,
unanswered question.
an unanswered question, never explained where the reindeers are. Even if the elves said, we had the reindeer come back to North Pole um, for safety or something, but they never say. Yeah, I never know. I could see them being recalled back to home base, so that they don't get caught themselves. But it is
Yeah.
what it is. So they go to break the Santa Claus out of jail, and the elves look at this man after he asks him, "Who are you?" He goes, "We're your worst nightmare, elves with attitude."
Hmm.
And they tie him up into his chair with garland, it looks like, and then they go to get Santa Claus out of the jail by using tinsel to cut through the metal.
Right. That was cool.
Scott returns Charlie to his house, and he insists that he spends Christmas with Laura and Neil. He has a heartfelt speech to Charlie about the importance of everyone in the family, including Neil. And he convinces Laura and Neil that he is Santa. As a gift to Scott, Laura burns the visitation papers,
Oh,
the suspension of visitation papers. And then here is Bernard just appearing. Like, how easy would it be him to be Santa Claus? Just hold the stupid bag, appear in the houses, and be done with it. But I guess not. Um, so Bernard talks to Scott and Charlie and tells him that anytime he shakes his snow globe, his father will appear.
mm-hmm.
So he walks in and he goes, I'll be Bernard.
Okay.
What's all this boo-hooing going on here? And he looks at Neil, who suddenly backs away from him. Hey, how you doing? And then Scott
Nothing,
says,
Bernard. No,
go
nothing,
ahead.
Bernard. I'm just saying goodbye to Charlie.
What goodbye? Charlie, you still got the glass ball I gave you, right? Charlie.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, all you got to do is shake it whenever you want to see your dad.
really?
He can come back to see you anytime, day or night. Hey, have I ever steered you wrong? So Santa
Yep.
Claus leaves the roof. and that proves his identity to the police and various witnesses outside of the house. Screen Rant 3, please.
Green Rant 3. Everyone sees Santa at the end. Why didn't Scott show the reindeer to Laura and Neil earlier? At the end of the movie, neighbors and police officers see Scott take off his Santa's sleigh from the roof of Laura and Neil's house. This is very cavalier of him when several plot points in the following movies are concerned with the preserving the quote secret of Santa. No one ever believes the few dozen people on the scene, so it creates another problem in the story. That's the problem we had. If Santa has no problem showing off the sleigh, reindeer, etc., Scott could have just showed these things to Laura and Neil earlier so they wouldn't stop thinking he was delusional.
Exactly. All this, it just does not make sense to me. And yes, plot,
Yeah.
plot. I'm trying to do something one-handed here.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, because we actually have
So,
that repeatedly throughout.
yes, so he flies off of the thing, and then he goes over to Laura, Scott, and Charlie, and he gives Laura the mystery date. He throws him out with a parachute, little parachutes, and she gets her mystery date game, and he gets his little Oscar Mayer wiener whistle, and he starts
Oh,
believing in Santa Claus because I guess there's no faith there.
yeah.
And then the elves are just, yes, I did not show that, but the elves, there's a bunch of elves all in the crowd. And their ears are showing and everything. It's not like they're hiding their ears like Spock did in Star Trek with the skull cap. They're just very blatantly out there as elves in the
Yep.
crowd.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. They try to make them kids, but then you see the ears. And Simply Steve is here. Hey,
Yes.
Elle's just blended. Yep.
Yep.
Crowd.
Exactly. So Santa leaves. Charlie summons him back with the snow globe. Whoops, pushed the wrong button. Summons him back with the snow globe. And he asks Laura if he could take Charlie out with him tonight. And Laura says yes. So they go together in the sleigh and they finish delivering the presents. The end. That is
Yay.
the end of the movie. Okay. Everybody, you can write your opinions, your reviews that you have.
Daisy, she got your Spock reference. Yes.
Yes, I mean, come on, you got pointy ears. Cover them if you don't want to be noticed. But what are things that you guys liked about the movie? Did you have any favorite scenes? Any favorite lines? Things that bothered you? Just we're going to kind of be talking as we
Yeah.
and give your rating of this movie. What
Yep.
would you rate this movie? And you can say however you want to. I loved name who we cannot pronounce his rating of it. So, the
Well,
movie was okay. Go ahead, Demon. You go
yeah,
first.
there was a line that really jumped at me. I wish Snortopoopas was still here. I think he had to
Oh yes,
maybe
yes,
take a nap because when he's in the North Pole, he's looking out on the thing. He had the hot chocolate, and he he was wearing
looking out
down
the
to
balcony.
and all that, and he was just looking out, talking about everything, and he talked about the there's even a polar bear directing traffic. I was like, there's a Snortopoopas line right there.
Yes,
So
exact. Yes, Tim Allen had some good kind of snarky lines. I think he was. I mean, I know why he was mean to Neil because he was this. He remarried his ex-wife. Whatever reasons they divorced,
yeah.
we don't really know. Don't really care. But he just was generally mean to him.
Well, he really
But
wasn't kind to the kid either. If you look at through the whole course of the movie, when it started, the kid didn't want to be there. You could see it.
no, no,
He
he was.
didn't. He didn't know what to do with the kid. It was kind of like he lied the whole time because he's hanging out at the office party and then saying he'd be home late. He didn't make the kid a priority that night.
Yeah, yes, and he's going, "Oh, there's traffic, and there was nobody on the road." Just
Yeah.
lying. So, I mean, yeah, he was kind of a very, very absent
it was a
mad.
little annoying the start of it. I'm sitting here like
Yeah.
this is not what I kind of expected, and then but I think though ultimately as you see him change over the months, the year, you do see the change, and it probably was good that they made it so bad at first to show the incredible change from beginning to end throughout the
Right.
movie.
And Steve says his favorite scene was when Santa just surprised on the roof with no snow, ice boots for slanted roofs with and slides to his death. And they actually said that if you looked real carefully, you could tell that that was fabric snow. It was not real snow because
Mm.
the fabric bunches up um, in it. But I just, just the whole lack of concern that all of so many people had. Um, Santa dead on the ground, or a human dead on the ground. Um,
Which then I guess in the Santa Claus is when they made a TV series. They made it like an early retirement thing.
yeah, but
So,
still, they didn't know
but
that
yeah,
he was dead.
no,
It was a
yeah,
dead person, buried in the snow.
yeah,
Scott is like kind of looking at it like, oh, this what small Santa is this? I
yeah.
mean,
Take
doesn't
it
even,
back to the mall. I'll give you a ride back to the
Charlie
mall.
Charlie comes out and goes, "You killed Santa." I mean, there's no tears, no sad. Yes, uh, yes, Tim Allen was good in it, but the script had lots of issues,
Yeah.
and the one with him just
Feel free to
disappearing
share, folks. Yeah.
was one that Tim Allen had, and that's why they added during the TV show
Right.
when they aired that they're going on early retirement. They're going on
Right.
retirement. So, but they don't care. I mean, there really is no caring. He disappears. They're not worried. When they go, the elves don't give a shit that there's a new Santa Claus.
They're just
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Lil, Laura and Neil don't care that Scott is kind of exhibiting issues. I don't want to say the word, but with
Mhm.
children, with him having
Yeah.
them sit on his lap in a park, and things like that. They don't care. They just take Charlie, walk away. They don't worry about all those other kids because
No,
they
they
don't
didn't.
believe he's really Santa Claus. They think he's faking it. So they don't care about all those other kids that are by him. And Neil is a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Legally, Neil should do something. Like if a doctor, if someone is bleeding, a doctor is obligated by the Hippocratic Oath to help them.
Hmm.
Well, I think that he should, he just kind of ignored all those kids' potential issues they could be having. Yeah, I can't. I wish I could say certain words and things, but they didn't intervene. Exactly. There was no
Intervention.
intervention at all. None, simply, Steve. Exactly. And I'm going, number one, you two are the most selfish human beings ever and the most selfish parents. You're parents and you don't give a crap about any of
What
those other
what
kids.
got me was the soccer scene so badly. I
Yeah.
mean, they're late to the soccer match, way, way, way late. Then they walk through the damn field like they're in the middle of the match, and I'm like, wait,
There was no
and rip the kid
referees.
and rip.
There was
Well, there
no
was a referee
coaches.
walking, but
Oh,
there was a referee with the kids out there,
oh,
but it was like everybody running together in a big like watching
yeah,
3-year-olds play soccer. That's what
yeah.
it was, and these were older kids. But I mean, they just walk right through the match, and then they walk right out, grab the kid off the field in the middle of the game, regardless of, like you said, no coach or anybody to stop them.
Yes. But not even caring about
Yeah.
all those other kids, what was going on. Not caring about, Scott himself, his mental health going over there. Scott, what you're doing could get you arrested. You need to stop this. You need to get yourself together. You need to come now with us and get out of here. What you're
Mm,
doing is wrong. No, they never said that.
yeah.
It just was like just all of that, and
Hmm.
you know, and even when they did the visitation, taking
Yeah.
away the visitation, they never, Neil never said, "Let me get you a counselor." Go talk with somebody because
No, he
Scott
handed it hard
Scott
one time, but
Scott was concerned.
hmm
Still, even though I think just because of what it was, he
you would
kind of
need
knew
a
what was
different
going
person.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, it would be, come on, the whole lackadaisicalness of this whole thing, just kind of got
Yep.
me, you know.
No.
Um, and that was a big thing that bothered me. One of the scenes that I really liked, I really liked it, and I think, and it was just so sad. Um, but I was the Denny scene with all the dads with their kids at the restaurant. And I kind of went, man, I wish there was like a representative, mom there who couldn't cook, you know, but there wasn't. It was just all the single dads there with their kids eating at Denny's
Yep.
on Christmas Eve. I kind of like that scene. And I love the line, "Burnt the turkey, did ya?" And he's like, "Yep," and shows his hand.
That was
So,
cool.
um,
That really was cool.
does anybody else have any scenes that they really liked?
Well, I found myself this time much like you with this. Some movies like Jingle All the Way. You're like, that's cringe. You have to walk away from. You just don't want to watch.
Mhm,
That's where a lot of some of the Tim Allen scenes. I'm like when he's going down the chimneys, when he's actually interacting with the kids. Going to sleep.
mhm.
Excuse me. Or specifically when he takes the kid off anyway, and things like that. You're like, what are you thinking? Like the screenwriter was saying, hey, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I can't wait. I can't see this. I can't watch. It was driving me nuts. I actually felt
Yeah,
like you feel some of those scenes, and it was really
yeah.
weird.
It just was, it was just so stupid. Some
Yeah,
of the movie. And if Tim Allen wasn't, Tim Allen made the movie.
yeah.
And I would have given it a lower rating. I'm not gonna say what my rating is yet, but I would have given it I can't even remember what my rating was. I would have given it a lower rating if Tim Allen wasn't in it.
And Judge Reinhold
Judge Reinhold did play
appearing
a
as in the
wonderful though
Putz.
he
Yeah,
played, as the
they're good.
putty psychiatrist, but his heart, you know, uh,
I
I
will say
think his
the movie
heart
did a
was
good
in the
job.
right spot. I don't think they didn't vilify any
Right.
of the parents. They didn't vilify Laura, Neil, or Scott in this.
Yeah. And at the end, they could redeem them, or not necessarily redeem, but you saw you had sympathy for all of them,
Yeah, it
even
didn't
Neil.
vilify them. It
Yeah,
didn't make him the bad stepfather or Tim. Scott's character really, he really wasn't a bad father. I think he was the guy that he went to work and he was a salesperson, and people in sales have to do a lot of stuff. They're not home. I think he wasn't around. I think he didn't know his kid. Um, and um, and I think
yeah,
Scott's personality was a little abrasive's not the right word, dismissing. Um, and
no,
so um, I think that was some um, You
yeah,
know, they showed their flaws, they all had
yeah,
flaws, but they didn't vilify them.
yeah,
And I will say that for that, I think that was good because usually they will, and the fact that Charlie didn't really want to be there with his dad. There were no Christmas presents. Dinner was going to suck. What's
yeah.
he going to talk to his dad about? He's just going to go there, going to go to bed and get up. Mom, pick me up at sunrise, please. Pick me up tomorrow morning. I'm early tomorrow morning.
Was
I mean, sunrise early.
you
You know,
said something that brought back a memory to me of this movie? You said the lack of presents right under the tree.
Mhm.
He worked for a toy company. I
Yes,
would think with especially in a divorce situation, that's where I got off the
he
wrong
was
foot with
an
this movie.
executive of the
You would have thought,
he was one of
yeah,
the in the promo,
you would
yeah.
have thought that he would have made sure the tree there would have been abundance of toys.
Every present that
Yeah,
this company made should have been under the
I
tree.
mean because the lack of presents almost told me he hated the kid or didn't care about the
I
kid.
don't think he did. I don't
No,
think
no,
he
no. But
hated them.
it sent the wrong message to me. Is
I
that
think he didn't he just didn't think about them. Out of sight, out of
yeah.
mind, I think might have been it. There wasn't a real relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think Neil and him had a relationship. Like when he said he listens to me, Dad. You know,
Yeah.
and Scott was very dismissive. Whenever Charlie said something, it was like
Hmm.
no, and Charlie was like, "Why don't you ever do anything I want to do?" You know,
Right.
he didn't want to go to Denny's because he didn't like Denny's, but it's
That's why.
America's restaurant. We're going to Denny's. You
That's why
know,
Waffle House is better.
so
So,
he was very dismissive, and I think when he got infused with the Santa Claus blood or whatever, he became more attentive. Um, but I don't think he would have changed. If I don't think that that would have happened unless otherwise. He prioritized his personal work and work life over the family. Exactly. Yes. Yes. So there were like just some things that just I just think were why was Charlie on the roof alone after Santa Claus got arrested? Um, where did the deer and the sleigh go? Um, the one scene where they were wrapping up the guy and the police officer in the chair, it just looked obscene. That's why I
yeah.
didn't air. I didn't put a picture of it. I'm like, yeah, that just doesn't look appropriate. They should have kind of really checked that out a little bit. Um, Everyone's seeing Santa Claus,
Hmm.
and the big thing, here's a big one. Was a screen rant, but I'm just going to kind of summarize it. If I came down and saw all these new presents under the tree and didn't know who they came from, and I didn't believe in Santa Claus, where the hell did they come from? Everybody should believe in Santa Claus because everybody would you know, have Christmas presents under the tree from Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So, how did,
Absolutely.
you know, that made no sense to, I always said, I always told them, and I didn't want Santa giving presents to the kids
Yeah.
because I, especially like the big presents, because I wanted credit for them. I didn't
Jeez.
want Santa Claus to get credit for. Yeah, I'm bah humbug.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
wanted credit for giving those
I
gifts.
think
Santa Claus can give them the stocking with the candy in it. I want to be the one giving them the bike or
exactly.
whatever. So yes, but I really that's a lot of the the movie. Um,
Yeah.
so are we ready to check
It,
out?
well,
Oh,
unless
if you have anything else to say.
yeah, if there's any other scenes anybody else has to do, a lot of them that you hit, it's one of those movies like you were Jingle All the Way. There's things that cringe and you couldn't watch. I know I said that earlier. That's kind of like with this one. I think I hate Bumbling Dad and that type of thing many times. We had some of that. The bumbling cops were fun. Were actually funny with this. I I just I don't know. This is the first time I've watched this movie. It was never on my radar.
Mhm.
And of course, we do have another split family movie, which they dealt with it good, and with this one, and looking back at it, and this it did not hit me as a comedy per se. It was almost too serious with the messaging. It was when I want comedy, when I want a Christmas comedy, I want Home Alone 2. I of course want Jingle All the Way. Just slapstick, non-serious bullcrap. Just give me a movie and let me laugh and stuff. This one was a bit more of a serious movie. I know Tim Allen's known for comedy, and he pulled off some comedic lines in there, but it didn't seem to have the same effect for me as like some of the other movies because they were introducing him taking over Santa and then had to do the backdrop situation. I think you could have had a lot of more goofiness in it with the way he became Santa if you did not have the family dynamic. So,
Mhm.
but that's me. So, oh gosh, Stacey said this. Could you figure out Santa had? Yeah, I know. I did too, and I like denied it. I was like, okay, I'm not looking. So,
I
but yeah,
yeah.
you know. But I mean, it really that's where I struggle
I
a bit
did.
with movies. Is I
I
expect to be bowled over by nonstop comedy with Tim Allen.
which I'm glad there wasn't because that gets exhausting. Having a show that all it is like bam, bam, bam. You've got to have a break. You got to have a breather. And comedy, you can't have comedy without tragedy. A lot of times, and you got to have something for that. And and the whole relationship with his son, even though it was subtle here, that was kind of the tragedy part of it that could do the comedy. Um, so, because if you have all just joke, 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 you physically it gets exhausting to do. So,
Hmm.
I thought the show was paced pretty well. Um, if I wasn't the one thing that did bother me, it was just like, okay, he was at the North Pole. He said 11 months, and then all of a sudden it was 11 months. Even though you kind of knew time was passing, um, but they didn't really make it clear the passage of time, and like maybe if he got all the lists, he could have said, "You have 3 months to get through this list," or something. But it never really um, was clear with the passage of time.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
it, and then all of a sudden it was like, because I asked her, I said, "Is it the next year already?" I said, "Is it Christmas Eve next year already?" And you're like, "Yes." It just kind of was, oh, it just kind of popped there. So the way that they dealt with the time lapse in the movie
Hmm.
was kind of disjointing for me.
Right.
Um, I thought the effects they did were good. It's what year was this? 1994. 1994. So the effects weren't too bad. Some of them were a little hokey, but the so is this some is this something I want to put into my yearly Christmas movies? No, I don't. Um, so I'm trying to think if there's really anything else. The music didn't really bother me in this.
I think this movie didn't really have a lot of music to it, unlike Jingle All the Way. Some of the others, like we said with sound effects last night with Christmas
Yeah,
Carol, or even Gremlins. I mean, Gremlins had that thing, some of those
yeah.
key
I think
bars,
it
key
had
measures
it,
of
but it
music.
was very
It
subtle, so
just
it fitted well.
it didn't have
It
an
was
effect. It didn't make a movie like some of the others we've looked
it
at.
truly was background music, and if it wasn't there, we'd notice it. It's kind of one of those things. It probably was done well because it was there and it enhanced the movie, but it didn't overtake the movie.
Yeah,
So,
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. But see,
right.
to me, great movies have good music. The music ties in, um, and
Yeah,
I think
thank you,
to me it's
Sympathy.
soft.
Yeah, around 90. It was actually, it said it was released in, I found my notes, November 94. So it went into 95. So, okay, I think it's about time to check out.
Yeah, because IMDb has it as 94.
Yeah, it was released
So
in November 94. So that means it carried over into the 95 season. So
Santa Claus 3 was in 2006. So that spanned 12
when was
years.
the series? Was that 22?
I'm looking.
The Santa Clauses.
Santa Clauses. Give me 1 second. I'm working on it. If you want to start reading people's reviews, we
Okay,
can
so
do
we're
that.
going to go ahead and look at the
2022, November
yeah, 'cause
22.
yeah, it was a couple seasons.
Yep.
So Ezra, the first Lion Keyblade master, gave it a 10 Christmas trees because
Alan, I'm sorry. I got to jump in. I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna pop that one.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. Sorry, missus. I fouled up. My
It's
bad.
okay. It's okay. Now I'm
I'm not used to sitting back in the backgrounds letting other people push the buttons. I apologize.
okay. So
All right. So
we
where
have
were you?
Ezra, a new subscriber. Thank you so much. Gave it 10 Christmas trees because it's nostalgic for them. Uh, Neighbor cannot pronounce says I've seen this movie back in the day. For Alan's sake, I give it half a tree and a full popcorn pack. I usually are more strict in my movie critic, but since it's Christmas movie, I kind of got sentimental. Atwood gives it a 5 out of 10. And the Daisy Blossom said, I give it a C or 5 out of 10. And then Atwood goes, oh, holy crap. I wasn't expecting someone to agree with me with laughter in his eyes. Let's see. I think you had quite a few that agreed with you because Simply Steve gave it 2.5 trees out of 5, which is 5 out of 10. So for most people, it was just kind of meh, as like Atwood said, it was okay, but now it's just eh. Um, but he liked it the first time he saw it, but it's not one I watch often. So 6.5 for me. So those are our ratings for this movie today. So let's go back and look at the movies that we had rated in the past. So we did Jingle
Did
All
you
the
see
Way.
Stunnings?
Did Stunning do one? Did he
Yeah,
just put
he
it in?
just put one in there.
Oh, six poops out of 100.
Yeah.
6 poops out of 100. So yes, so there we go. We got all of those done. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our reviews here. And let's see. For Jingle All the Way, out of 10, I gave it 3 trees. Dadman gave it 8 popcorn. For Gremlins, I gave it 8 trees. Dadman gave it 7 popcorns. For A Christmas Carol, we both gave it 8 trees and 8 popcorns. Now for Jingle All the Way, I mean for Santa Claus, I gave it 6 out of 10 trees, and the only reason I gave it 6 was for because I loved a lot of Tim Allen's lines in it. He just was Tim Allen, just doing those lines. I think they were ad libbed. I don't think they were written, and I really liked that part of it. I didn't give it more because of the things I've said. There were just too many things that were jarring for me. The lack of caring of people being dead by the elves and by Scott and Charlie, the lack of potential criminal behavior, uh, the of the Scott character of Laura and Neil not really caring. Well, I guess Neil cared enough to give him a business card to see someone, but not enough to get him out of the situation or caring for the kids. So a lot of that stuff just jarred me. So that's why I could not give this more than that. If Tim Allen wasn't in it, it probably would have been a 3 or 4. So that
Mm-hmm.
is my review.
Okay. Yep.
Now
And
it's your
I'm
turn.
all right. Well, I'm 5 because, like I said, I like the music. I really struggle with the whole family relationship things a lot of times. Things like that. Okay. Okay. And came by. But yeah, those type of things. And then of course I was cringy a lot of times waiting for those scenes to like, oh gosh, she's gonna get arrested. Why is he doing that? Why, things that were pointed out today with the Screen Rant, some of the other things that we were talking about doing the movie, just kind of bugged me a bit. And it just was it was a movie. It was entertaining, not bad, but I've seen it. I don't even know if I would want to see the second or third. But you know what? Then again, what we say is everybody loves what they do. Enjoy what you enjoy, and hey, if you love the movie, like we had our your new subscriber, perfect movie. Looking back, reminiscing and stuff. Hey, enjoy it. Because I'm wrong many times, and people have different opinions with these things. But it just was like it just kind of a movie that just kind of went. Mm, it was like a movie. Have you ever had expectations and you expect? And I think one of the biggest problems I really had though was that I expected a almost like a Home Improvement or something where the focus was on the comedy and all that stuff, or Jingle All the Way, the gag gifts, and this became more of a serious movie. So that's probably why I'm more meh and about in the middle with it. Was
Mhm.
not bad either though.
Yeah, it was if I could just I do not say, "Oh, I wasted, an hour and 45 minutes of my life." Which some movies I do say that. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I'll never get that time back." Um, but then again, I don't wanna waste it watching it again. So next year, if we do Christmas movie reviews, we will not be doing the Santa Claus. Well,
We could do number two though.
no, we cannot. Um,
Well,
so
you never know.
who knows? But
Sometimes the sequels could be better than the original.
so
You know.
those are our reviews for today. Thank you all
And
for
see,
that.
Atwood, I know
Uh,
Atwood was crazy
just
because somebody agreed with him up earlier. Well, I agree with Atwood. He said 5 of 10.
yeah,
I said 5 of 10.
yeah. A
So
lot of people agreed that this was
yeah,
just a movie. Um, Not horrible, but not to me. The rewatchability
yeah.
um, are you know kind of like the thing when it's kind of in the middle. It's like okay, I've watched it. I don't have to watch it again. So let's go ahead and see what's going on later in our world. I do every morning morning musings with
Buddy said, Buddy here. I'm sorry. It just came in. He likes Santa Claus. Oh, sorry, the different movie. My bad. Santa Claus is the movie. It's not a good movie, but I like it. My apologies.
and there's some things that there you like them.
Did I say this earlier about how this was something about this movie that kind of bugged me? The terms now. Originally, I was like, why did they spell it with an E? But the whole clause, the legal disclaimer thing,
Uh huh.
that did bug me a lot of times. Because what is this deception in having Santa? It like took away some of the innocence from it by like throwing real life legal crap and or like you're trying to swindle or trick somebody into doing something instead of it being for the love and the passion. That was one thing that I meant to mention was the actual spelling of the
It kind of was a little
movie title.
cynical.
Yeah,
It was
why
a
would
little
our
cynical.
elves and Santa be that kind of
Yeah.
hiding? Like
Right.
trying to
Oh, and there
do
was
it
a
wrong.
line in this movie that was cut out from this.
Yeah,
That at the very beginning, when Laura says that they're going to Neil's um, family to eat,
right.
and she writes down the number, and he goes, "Oh, it's 1-800," and says, "I don't know." I'm going to say it, but nobody's. I don't. I think it's an active, real number.
Oh well, then what is it? An
It's
adult?
one.
Can you just
It's
say
an.
an adult
I'm not.
site?
It's an adult. It's an adult
Okay,
number.
that's
I'm
probably
not
all you
going to
need
say.
to.
I'm not going to say it's 1-800 with something. Um, and apparently, a child. It was in the movie. A child saw it and called the number and racked up a $400 phone bill.
No,
Uh,
right.
so they took that out of the movie.
Imagine having that number.
I bet how. I wonder if they didn't check it.
Imagine having that copy if you got it released at home. That might be worth because that would be one movie that you would not get the original release in future
Right.
releases.
It was removed and they changed it. And I mean, it's right up there with. I mean, you say, how could that happen? Well, the Wicked toys.
Yeah,
Instead of putting wickedthemovie.com, they just put another thing on there, and it went to an adult site.
yeah. And I'm going to say
So,
one other thing real quick. You got 4 people watching on the Twitch side. I know we haven't
oh,
had
thank
comments
you
from over
so
there,
much.
but thank you to the people that are watching there. And yes, Daisy, why don't they check the phone number?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I wonder if that was just a throwaway line that Tim Allen said, he just kind of went, oh, okay, and so just an ad lib, and they kept it in and didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was another interesting
Okay.
fact to the movie. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's thank you for letting me add that
yes, one
line.
eight hundred Big Boob. Yes, that was the number. Not okay. Nobody dial that number, please. Do
Well,
not.
he's got two dashes in there. So hey, Zach Wright 315's
Hey,
here.
Zach, right?
Hey.
Hello, hello. How are you? And we got Agent Atwood over on the
Yeah.
Twitch side.
Hey, and
Thank you,
Zach Wright,
thank
real
you.
quick before we wrap up, if you have any thoughts about this movie, feel free to share. How would you rate it if you rated this
If
movie?
you've watched the Santa Claus,
Yeah,
what is your ratings of the movie?
exactly. So
I'm
love
going
to
to go
hear
ahead
what
and
you.
slowly talk
Yeah.
about our.
Oh, Jerry Minoz is here too today. Hey.
Hey, how are
Well,
you?
well,
If you've watched the Santa Claus, go ahead and put your rating of what you think it is. I'm going to go ahead and just
well.
start wrapping.
Did
What?
you want to do a quick recap of what we did, real quick, before we wrap up?
A quick repack of the movie?
Yeah, just of what we
Oh, of
did.
the
To go back and
reviews?
watch the stream later, but what we did.
Okay, here's the reviews that we did. Me and Dadman I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I thought that, oh, I didn't put it up. Let me put it up. Sorry. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I just thought there were some inconsistencies and things that just really bother me. And I just think some of the direction was out of character. Um, Dadman gave it a 5 out of 10. He just kind of thought it was, yeah, yeah. And yes, Stunning Show is going to be starting soon.
Yeah, stunning. I was
So
going to throw that out there. You beat us
go
to it.
right ahead.
But,
So
good.
if you guys have any reviews, go ahead and let us know. Um,
Mhm. I think basically we came down to it was a movie. It was not bad. It was enjoyable, but it was a movie. So, but Jerry and Zach, right? Thank y'all for coming in. All right. Well, Mrs. I'll work to put Stunning's link out there again. So,
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
mm,
And so let me get back here. We have a comment. I'll be live in 20 minutes.
yeah,
I don't know if we'll be able to drag it for 20 minutes so we can throw it to you live, but we will absolutely throw it over there to
absolutely.
you. So let's see. Morning musings with Mrs. Dadman Walking. I do those shows Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. That being said, this Monday through Wednesday, we are going on vacation. So I will not be doing scheduled morning musings streams.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Jerry
Jerry has it.
Mendoza gives the Santa Claus a 7.1 out of 10.
Nice,
So
nice.
very
Do
good,
you
very good.
real quickly, Jerry? Feel free if there's a scene or two or a reason why you feel that strongly with the movie. Let us know. We'll look at it because we're curious. But yeah, thank you, Jerry, for
Because
putting.
it's
It's
funny.
funny.
That's why he gave
Yeah,
I yes, there were I would have given it a lower score if Tim Allen was not in it. Tim Allen, his lines were what made that it funny. Um,
absolutely.
so yes. Wednesday, when we come back, we are going to be reviewing the movie Elf. That's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thursday at 8 p.m. on Dadman Walking's channel, he is going to be reviewing Battleship with Daisy Blossom Flower Child.
Yes, yes. Can I say something about that real quick?
Yes.
Yes, definitely come get Daisy's expert opinion because this is really, really cool. The movie that has space aliens and real life U.S. Navy, and nothing says realistic movies like the USS Missouri battleship at flank speed and just dropping the anchor and doing a 180 drag. So hey, make sure you're there for us for that night for that. So it
That
will
is,
be
okay.
fun. This was actually a movie that got talked about in one of our chats, and it was really popular. The discussion. So that's why we went that way. So
Cool. Keep talking. I'm typing
yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, because it features Liam Neeson and of course Rihanna and I think it was Tanning Chatham Tanning who whatever the hell his name is, and it's like you got aliens, with superpower weapons. No, but an expert in U.S. Navy, so okay, you are more of an expert than I am. Uh, so, and Atwood did say that the Tim Allen carried the film, but as they say, it's a film is only as good as its lead. Absolutely, I agree with that. Leads can make or break a movie. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was perfect for Jingle All the Way.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so okay. So
Yeah.
go over there and check that out on Thursday. Their streams are so much fun to
Yeah.
listen to,
2 hours flies by before you know it. But listen, we love to have people's opinions and thoughts and stuff shares with the movie. So please hope to
yep.
see y'all there then too.
So Battleship, Thursday, December 12th. And then on
This would be
Friday the
fun.
13th at 10 p.m. with our special guest. Agent Atwood is going to be with us, and we're going to be talking about the movie Krampus. I watched it last year for the first time, and and I liked it. So
See,
we'll get my review on it, and
I gotta jump in there because folks, she resisted this movie for a long time because you are not a horror person. That's
I was
obviously
afraid it was gonna be, I like scary movies, but I don't like gory movies,
right because
and I
one
was
of the
afraid it was gonna be more gory.
well, see, that's where I knew, and I appreciate that you took a chance and believed me and listened to me because, see, before we ever got married, probably the second movie we ever went to watch was In the Mouth of Madness. She picked, not me. It would
An
not have been
amazing
some.
movie.
I would have never picked it, but she picked it. So years later, when she's like, "I don't like horror," I'm like, "What?" But it's
But that wasn't a horror,
yeah,
that was more of a psychological. I mean, it probably would
psychological
been have
horror.
been considered a horror, but it
Yeah,
was more of the psychological and instead
yeah.
of the
But it's not.
gory.
It was not gory and stuff like that. Yeah, and so I got the difference. But yeah, that was what surprised me. But then, that's why I thought if you gave this a chance, you would
Mm,
be able to handle it. I'm glad you did.
yes. So that is Friday the 13th at 10 p.m. Then it's Saturday.
You're not alone, Daisy.
Yeah, psychological horror. So on Saturday at noon, we're going to be doing a bunch of kids. I don't like calling them kids because I still like them. A bunch of classic Christmas shows from Rudolph, Small One, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, The Little Drummer Boy, Charlie Brown a Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas. Um, all of those we're going to review just in one fell swoop on Saturday, that's December 14th. And then on Sunday at 8, we're going to do the original National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. I don't know, is there another Christmas Vacation? Maybe not, but it is the one with Chevy Chase. They've made so many remakes. I don't know. Monday, we're going to be the 16th. We're going to be talking
This one,
about A Christmas Story.
this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be a very controversial stream. And then on Tuesday, I will be doing my Lego build of my Christmas Legos that I got on Black Friday. That's at 1 p.m. And then at 8 p.m., we're going to be reviewing Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
I'm looking forward to that one. That's gonna be fun.
Okay, I'm going to just comment to this one. Just chill, relax, and have fun. Those are my tips for you.
Yes, good to have you with us.
And
So
thank you for being here. But
hopefully
just
you've been
have
lurking. We'll go back and
fun.
look. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
have
Like
fun.
anything to do, just have
We
fun.
just have fun doing these streams.
Yeah.
And that's really about it.
Oh, and Jerry owns that movie. Yes.
Wednesday the 18th, we're going to be doing Scrooged that has Bill Murray. I have not watched this movie for a long time. I liked it when it first came out, and we're going to see if it stands the test of time. Be very curious
I have never
about
seen
that.
this movie.
So we're going to get it from a perspective of someone who's never seen it, someone who's seen
Yeah.
it, and who see how it has fared.
Yeah.
Thursday at 5, I'll be puttering around in Lego
Oh,
Fortnite, and then we'll be doing our last Christmas movie, which is Klaus, which is on Netflix. If you haven't, watch it. Um, it's a very good movie, and where we be that will be the last movie we review in our 12 movies of Christmas, and that's leading all up to our Friday event that's gonna be on Dadman's channel, which is wait, I've lost the cursor. There it is, which is Christmas traditions with the Dadmans and Daisy Blossom Flower
Yeah.
Child. Daisy
Did
Blossom
did you?
has dressed up into their Christmas attire. Oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that
Yeah.
one? Go ahead.
60th anniversary last night
Oh, wow.
on
Yes,
NBC. Yes. Yes.
it was, um, it was released the year I was born.
Oh. Yeah.
So,
So I look
uh,
forward to talking about that one too next.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, those obviously will not be they'll be little shorter reviews because,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a lot of them. But
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to doing them.
Yeah. And this with Daisy's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
You
this
know.
I mean, Daisy has got, their Christmas attire on, and already we're gonna talk Christmas traditions.
And
Um,
let me tell you, folks. I wish we could have 100 people watching this stream, and I'm serious. But all around YouTube, and everything else. These two ladies are the most professional, well researched people I've ever been around and meet. I mean, I'll wing stuff and all that, but both Daisy and the Missus, I mean, like the scripts that Mrs. pulled out night, they both have notes. They have know their stuff. They've researched it. I hope that y'all really get the word out. Come and share this. My third annual Christmas stream, and I would could not think about better co-hosts than these two. You're going to learn a lot that night. So.
and I forgot to put your
Snortapoopus went to bed, by the way. Sorry.
yes. Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot to put your, chat up. I apologize, but,
Yeah,
everybody, just keep send positive energy this way while they're singing tonight because I know how nervous it is to perform live. So anyway, just have fun. Just have
absolutely.
fun. Take a deep breath before you start, and you will do absolutely fine. So
Hmm.
I did want to welcome you to the stream, and I apologize for not putting your chat up earlier. Um, I
But
sometimes do that.
this just amazes me that this movie's 60 years old, though, now.
And
It,
one of those, has it withstood the test of time? Yes.
yeah,
Yes, it has. So,
yes,
yes,
exactly.
your winter attire. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful. So this will be Friday, December 20th, but it will not be on my channel. It will be on Dadman Walking
yes. Oh, I
55's
guess I should.
channel.
Oh, Liam Grey Wolf had made an
And
appearance.
hello, Liam. And once again, I forgot to put your slide information on. If you can pull up your slide information, just your
Who, me?
can you
Yeah.
get or I can look for it. You want me
Well,
to look for it?
yeah, go ahead and look for it real quick. We're
Okay.
going to get it towards where Stunning goes live in 10 minutes now. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just
So
let me look
we'll get
for
it. We
let me
got
see if
people hanging out. Um,
but yeah, this
I
show
will.
I am really, really looking forward to seeing it. Let's
I got it. I'm gonna put the link to the channel in.
I was looking actually for just your generic slides and
Uh,
I can't find them. I
don't
just
worry.
wanted to
I got the channel link here. So this is me over at the YouTube link. So folks, there you go. So
oh, here we
there.
go. I found it.
Oh, you found it? Okay. But Liam, nice, cute emojis.
So let's see.
All
Let me
right.
do something here
All
real
right. Oh,
quick.
thank
Let
you,
me do
Mrs.
that.
Appreciate that. But
Let me
yeah,
do this.
thank y'all all for being here with us today. This a
I
different time at
apologize
noon
for
in the day. No, you're
no,
fine. You did good. You did good.
I've got to
But
put this one in the slides.
yes, all right. But folks, make sure you've hit the like button on the stream. Make sure you have subscribed to the Missus. She's on the march for
Yep,
500 for monetization. And
yep.
hey, and come back. She does all kinds of stuff, like she told you, daily positivities and everything. You can support her with one-time donations on Ko-fi, or they could be monthly. Also on Throne, they kind of like you can donate to a purchase of an item, or you can buy an item and send it to her anonymously with all your information is protected and our information is protected. So there are multiple ways to actually support the Misses. And if you like my stuff, I say to everybody, go support the Misses. StreamYard costs have gone up. Other things are going up. And as you see, the wonderful heart and soul she puts into this. So I also ask, please follow her on Twitch if you have a Twitch account. Make sure you subscribe to her on
Okay,
YouTube also.
okay, I will. I'll get
Sorry.
to those. They're
Sorry,
next.
Mrs. Sorry.
Take a
I'm
deep
just
breath.
all right.
Breathe, Dad, man, breathe.
All right, sorry.
He gets very passionate, very excited. So yes, you can support me. You can buy me a cup of coffee at Coffee, or you can check out my creator wish list on Throne. There, Mrs. Dadman Walker 55. I went ahead and put those links in the chat for you if you'd like to go over there. Those that support me monthly, I thank you very, very much for that. It does help, as he said. StreamYards has gone up. It's gone up 100%. So it is a little disconcerting, but I like the StreamYards the best, so it's what we're going to use until I can find something better.
Yep.
If you'd like to mail us something, you can at P.O. Box 26603, Jacksonville, Florida 32226. And anything that we get in the mail, if it's a card or like a Christmas card or anything like that, if there is a return address on it, we will send something back. If you send a Christmas card, we'll send you a Christmas card back. If you know, so if that's something you would like to do, go ahead and mail us something. When I say us, I mean you can mail it to me, to Dad, Man Walking 55, or Angle, my youngest, who is a streamer on Twitch, or you can send it just to the Dadmans, however you would like to do that. My streams, YouTube is at Mrs. Dadman Walking 55. Twitch is Mrs. Dadman Walking, no punctuation, no numbers. My social media, Twix, X, that thing that used to be called Twitter, whatever you refer to it as, you can follow me at M Dadman Walking. Threads is at Mrs. Dadman Walking 55, no punctuation, and Discord. Discord is Mrs. Dadman Walking. If you go over there and do a friend request, I will accept that friend request. Yes, the Dad fam. I love that. Um, and after you send me a friend request, I am going to automatically send you an invite to my server, Mrs. Dadman Walking. Now, if you want to be part of that server, accept the invite or join. If you don't want to, don't join. It's okay either way. So you're not obligated to join the server if you do a friend request over there. Some people just want to be friends and not do servers. So whatever you really like to do. Um, and
Oh, the Dad Maniacs. All right.
yes, I like that
That
one too.
works.
Those are really good.
You got
So
19 watching between Twitch and YouTube. So, folks, if you're
wow,
out there
thank
and have
you.
not commented, and if you're lurking, we've talked about the Santa Claus. Feel free to, at the last second, throw us a comment about
Yeah,
anything
we'll
you
still
like.
we'll still
Yeah,
throw it in there before if it's before I put up that final slide.
yeah.
Once we go full
20
screen.
now, Mrs.
Wow,
You
once we
you
go
got
full
5 on the Twitch side too.
wow, thank you. Once we go full screen on my final slide, I don't put up any more chats.
Once you go full
So
screen, you can't go
once I
back.
go full screen, I don't go back. But here's Dadman's channels. His YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. All of them are Dadman Walking 55. Make sure you have that G in walking. There are accounts out there that don't have that do pretend to be him. So Dadman Walking 55 is for his YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter account. Do 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 do.
I wish I
I
could
don't
sing it. I wish I
I
could
don't
sing it.
I don't know if I can keep going for another 5
5 minutes.
minutes.
Well, at this point, we might as well.
We'll try. We got 4 minutes and 30 seconds before the
So have
stream.
you ever done it where you actually throw it over to somebody live?
Yes, I have.
I've not done it. I've only put the link in. Okay,
I
cool.
don't know. I don't know how to do it. Like, I guess there's a way. I know how to do it on Twitch, but I don't know
Uh
how to do it on YouTube.
no. Well, we'll put the link in. So
Yeah.
but or we could go ahead and end it and just everybody can take the link that's in the chat and go over there now and get in Stunning's chat in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Let me type it up.
Santatron. All right. But Santatron. Yeah, Atwood said, wouldn't it be Santatron? And then Daisy laughs at that. No Megatron. Santa, I mean, I want to say Satan. It's like ever since that one church lady skit many, many years ago, I could never look at the name Santa spelled out again. No, Santa Megatron is a tradition on his channel. Interesting. I still like that. That's good. That's good. Santa Megatron. To the great artist over there. Let's see. Of course, like I said, I will also remind people visit the Mrs. Ko-fi account to help support
Yeah,
financially there.
we're pulling
And
this out just
yes,
to try to
also
get
the
this.
Throne account. You can either
Okay, Shannon,
crowdfund.
go ahead and just start, please, so we can just throw it to you.
There you go. You're close enough.
You're close enough. Come on.
Oh, Krampus is here. Hey, Krampus, make sure you
Yeah,
subscribed already. I
yeah,
think, yeah.
yes.
All
Go
right.
over there and make
Next
sure that you're
Friday.
here on the 13th of the 13th to um to see our review of your movie, your
Yes.
autobiography, I guess it would be. Um,
All right. So I think Santa
that's a,
Megatron's he's already put it in there. So
yeah, I've got it ready to put in. I'm just
yeah.
waiting for him to start.
All
We're
right.
just waiting for
Well,
him to start. I'm going to go
yeah.
ahead and I'm going to throw it over there because he'll be starting soon. So you guys go over there to Stunning and Brave Megatron's Diorama Touch Up stream and tell him the Dad Fam said hi.
You
So
still got
here,
3 minutes. You can always
okay,
go live early.
you can go live early, man. Go live early. So anyway, there it is.
Wes Cagle. Oh no, Wes Cagle's been
Oh,
sick all week.
oh
Oh,
my goodness gracious! Yes, the answer is New Jersey.
go
Um,
back and watch it. Wes Cagle. Are you familiar with the movie The Santa Claus? And what did you think? And what would you rate it? We'll put you on the spot really quick.
oh goodness
Uh,
gracious.
well, we're killing three
Okay.
minutes for stunning.
Oh, okay.
But Wes Cagle's probably nothing like being put on the
It's
spot.
so like New Jersey. That's his answer. New Jersey. Didn't Bernard kind of have like a little Jersey
Kind of.
accent there?
I thought encore presentation. Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he. Oh,
Yeah. And yes, I hope you do feel soon.
had to
What was
be.
that?
That
Up,
was.
it started. Everybody go over there. He is live. Go over there and tell Stunning and Brave Megatron that we sent you. So you have
Yeah.
a wonderful one. And on that note, I am
Oh
going to
wait.
say,
Wes Cagle. Wes Cagle said real quick. Got it in and on. Saw the first one. I thought it was great. Film B+ to an A-.
excellent,
Awesome.
very
Okay,
good.
Wes
Thank
Cagle.
you very, very much. And rest and drink
Yep.
plenty of liquid. Stay hydrated. And now, on that note, I will say, see you next time. And remember to be kind, to show love. You're not promised tomorrow. So go to bed each night with no regrets. And most of all, I wish you all peace. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And on that note, I will say bye bye and go over to Sunny and Brave Megatron and say hello. Bye bye.